relax and enjoy ourselves.
Briefings play a very important role in the U.S. military. They are a primary means of providing information for every military exercise, operation, and mission. At some point in your career, you will be called upon to give a military briefing, and you will need to prepare well in order to communicate your ideas clearly and effectively.
I think oral communication skills are important for any member of any profession. It's always important to communicate the best that you can, as quickly as you can, and get your message across. In some professions, granted, it's more critical because of the time problem. For example, police, fire, physicians. Anybody who's involved in national security also has to be able to communicate quickly, clearly, and accurately to get the message across.
Most principles and techniques of effective speaking apply to the military briefing, just as to any other type of speech. However, the military briefing is more concise and is usually limited to basic facts. It is often a one-time only presentation of facts, requiring a precise discussion of a broad subject in a short period of time. There are 4 basic types of military briefings: the information briefing, the decision briefing, the mission briefing, and the staff briefing. The simplest type of briefing is the information briefing. It is intended to inform the listener and gain his understanding. It does not include conclusions or recommendations, nor does it require that a decision be made. The next type of briefing is the decision briefing. Staff officers give decision briefings when answers or decisions are needed. The briefer must be prepared to present facts, alternative solutions, comparisons of solutions, and the recommended course of action. The third type of military briefing, the mission briefing, is used to deliver information about and give specific instructions for a particular mission. It reinforces issued orders and informs each individual of his critical role in the operation. Finally, the most widely used type of briefing is the staff briefing. This type of briefing keeps the commander and his staff informed of the current situation. Used to deliver information rapidly and accurately, this type of briefing is an effective tool in achieving a unified, coordinated effort throughout the command. Since it can be used in different situations, the staff briefing may contain some of the characteristics of other types of briefings. While these 4 types of briefings differ from one another to some extent, they all have easily recognizable characteristics in common. And while each branch of the armed forces may approach the briefings in slightly different ways, all branches value briefings which are clear, brief, and concise, and which communicate messages effectively.
There are many definitions of effective communication, but it really comes down to an effective sharing of meaning. You and I communicate with each other insofar as we share the meaning for the words we use, for the symbols we use, even the nonverbal communication. So you're not so much interested in what the words mean, but are you sharing an understanding as you communicate with each other? Sharing is the important thing for the effective transfer of meaning.
Knowing how to deliver a clear, brief, and concise briefing is essential to all members of the military, enlisted and officers alike. Successful briefers have mastered fundamental speaking skills and briefing techniques.
What I'd like to do this morning is give you some basic concepts at the cellular level. I'll do this by starting with basic energy production. And there's a couple of pathways.
Lieutenant Colonel Banks is obviously an experienced briefer. He knows his subject matter and talks about it with sincerity and enthusiasm. He understands his audience and uses eye contact to include each member. His visual aids are helpful and appropriate, and his gestures are natural. In short, accomplished speakers like Lieutenant Colonel Banks make the military briefing look easy.
Oral communication is important. In fact, all communication is important. A recent study of Air Force leaders, commanders, showed that the #1 priority they put on the people that worked for them was that they were effective communicators. And the reason is, when you communicate, whether you're writing or whether you're speaking, when you communicate, you need to communicate effectively. People need to understand the meaning. Effective oral communication helps us get our meaning across. Therefore, we do our jobs better.